What is up, everybody? It is Monday, April 14th. We have a nice 10-game MLB slate today, so in this video, I'll be going through some of my top bets for these games today. I'll have another video out either later today or early tomorrow for the first round of play-in games for the NBA playoffs. If you've been following me for a while, you know NBA has been my bread and butter all year. We've made a ton of money on PrizePicks specifically for NBA this season in the Discord server and for the premium members too. So be on the lookout for my NBA video later today or early tomorrow. If you want to get a notification for that, be sure to subscribe to the channel with notifications on, or join the free Discord server, which is located in the description below. And then obviously, if you want the premium section of the Discord with all of my plays and all of my research every day, that link is also in the description below. But let's jump into this MLB slate today. We have 10 games going on. We'll head over to Roto Grinders, take a look at the weather report. Basically, only one game with some potential trouble, maybe two, depending on how long it goes, but it shouldn't impact the starting pitching too much. Washington at Pittsburgh looks like there's going to be some rain, maybe a late start in play, but it doesn't look like there's anything too major. So really nothing to worry about too much on the weather front today. We do have a 10-game slate. Most of the games are being played outside, and it is getting into the time of the year where the rain is going to start affecting some of these games. But let's head over to Outlier, because this is the website that I use every day to do all my research on. If you haven't heard of Outlier, or if you haven't seen it before, it's a pretty sweet website. It shows you every single line and all the players, and they have a player profile where you can click in. You'll see it when I go through some of these plays here. And if you want a 7-day free trial for this website, they have every sport, NBA, MLB, soccer, hockey, football, you name it. And they have a 7-day free trial. That link is also in the description below. But really good website. I use it every single day, basically, for my research. So first player we're going to talk about here is Shane Baz, over 17.5 pitching outs. In his last 10 starts, he's actually gone 18 plus outs, so 6 plus innings in 8 out of his last 10 starts, including twice against Boston last season. He had a one outing where he went 7 innings, another outing where he went 6 innings as well. Boston is bottom 11 right now in the league this season against right-handed pitching with a 98 weighted runs created plus. That's one of the advanced analytics that I like to use to predict outcomes for hitters. So WRC plus and WOBA, weighted on base average. Boston is bottom 11 in WRC plus and bottom 15 in WOBA. So they are bottom half of the league. They're not like the worst in the league, but they are bottom half right now. And I do think Shane Baz does go at least 6 innings tonight against Boston, at least based on his recent trends too, of going deep into games. Next player we're going to touch on here is Jake Mangum, under 1.5 hits, 100 RBIs. Same game, same team. This is a guy where I've actually been taking him pretty much all season already. He hits 8th in the order. He's a switch hitter. He's gone under in 9 out of 12 games this season and 8 out of 10 against right-handed pitching. Tanner Houck, he has struggled against left-handers this season so far. He's given up like a 500 WOBA, but the sample is so small that I'm going to ignore it and mainly look at last season's sample for him. And last season, he only gave up a 264 weighted on base average to left-handed hitters. He gives up a very high ground ball rate, so over 50% of his outcomes are ground balls against hitters. And Magnum, he is also hitting the ball on the ground over 50% of the time. So you have a ground ball pitcher and a ground ball hitter, a guy who struggles against right-handed pitching, a guy who is elite against left-handed hitters. Seems like a perfect storm here for Mangum to go under 1.5 hits, 100 RBIs. And like I mentioned before, he hits 8th in the order for Tampa Bay. So maybe only 4 plate appearances on a higher end for him. Most likely is around 3. So it's just a very good option to take the under. And like I said, I've been taking this the entire season. It burned me a couple times early on in the year, but it's been money since then. Third player we're going to talk about here is another hitter today. Spencer Torkelson, over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. We'll look at the full season. He's gone over this number in 12 out of 15 games this season and 3 out of 4 against left-handed starters. He is really good against left-handed pitchers in his career with a 333 weighted on base average. While I think it's Tyler Alexander or Trey Alexander, I can't remember which first name, but Alexander, he gives up a 343 weighted on base average to right-handed hitters in his career. So really good matchup for Torkelson. He's one of the hottest hitters in baseball right now, just in general. And I'm just going to keep riding this trend until it burns me. We've been on it for a little bit here, especially against left-handed pitchers early on in the season, but he's been hitting basically everybody. So a pretty good matchup for Detroit today. They're on the road in Milwaukee, so they do get a ballpark boost, which is nice. So I am taking this over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. And the last play I want to talk about here is Paul Skeens under 1.5 walks allowed. He's typically not a guy who walks a lot of batters, and he's going up against a team that is actually walking the fourth most in the MLB this season. The Nationals have walked the fourth most against right-handed pitchers in the league this year. Granted, small sample. We're still early on in the season. That could correct itself later on as it goes, but I do want to share that information for you all too. Paul Skeens, he's given up less than 2 walks in 18 out of 26 starts over the last 2 seasons. So you see 16 out of 23 last year and 2 out of 3 this year. There are some weather concerns too in this game. Like I mentioned before, there is some potential rain that might push this to a later start, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. And if we're also looking at last year for Paul Skeens and for home games, he actually went under in 8 out of 12 home games last year and 1 of 1 home games this season as well. So that's going to wrap up 4 of my picks for today. If you want to see my full card, be sure to join the Discord server and sign up for my premium package. I'm always giving out free trials, especially with the NBA playoffs starting tomorrow. That is not something you are going to want to miss with the NBA season we have had. So best of luck on your plays today, and thank you for watching.